The topic of this podcast is the exploration of the economic benefits of researching and implementing offshore wind energy on the coast of Maine. First, let's discuss the history of on-land wind energy. As early as 5000 BC, wind energy was being used to propel boats along the Nile River. By 1000 AD, the use of wind energy had spread to Europe, where it was further advanced. The U.S. Wind Engine Company was founded in 1850 by Daniel Holliday and John Burnham. The invention of steel blades 100 years later improved the efficiency of wind energy. Consequently, millions of new windmills were erected during this period. Again, in 1970, a factor caused the popularity of wind energy to grow. Due to the increase in oil prices, research and investment into wind energy as a substitute to oil boomed. In 1978, governmental policies began to encourage investment in wind energy. The Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act was passed, which required companies to buy a fixed amount of electricity from renewable energy sources, and a tax credit of 1.5 cents per kilowatt hour of energy was implemented. In 2016, the first commercial wind farm in the U.S. was opened off of the coast of Rhode Island. By now you may be wondering how a windmill could possibly turn wind into the electricity that we use in our day-to-day life. It is actually a relatively simple concept. Wind turbines function as three propeller-like blades turn around a rotor. The rotor is connected to the main shaft of the turbine, which spins a generator to create electricity. The process of constructing a functional offshore wind farm is slightly more difficult than that of a land construction. However, the magnitude of ocean winds is much greater than the winds on land. Therefore, the efficiency and productivity of the offshore farms are much greater, outweighing the difficulty of offshore construction. Offshore wind farms are broken into strings of turbines that spread out away from an offshore substation. The offshore substation gathers the electrical energy produced by the turbines and then sends that energy through a large cable on the sea floor. That cable connects to an onshore substation, which then disperses the electricity to the power grids and into our homes. The Gulf of Maine provides a unique offshore wind energy potential and is the largest untapped natural energy resource. Maine climate also provides a greater potential amount and a greater quality of wind energy than most parts of the United States. Currently, Mainers use a total of 2.4 gigawatts of electricity annually, and the estimated potential for energy produced from offshore wind energy is 156 gigawatts. Also, due to Maine's location, the energy produced offshore could assist in powering New England, which has a population with high electrical demands that are currently unsustainable. In Maine, offshore wind development could start a new industry, which would greatly benefit us by creating jobs in engineering, construction, manufacturing, maintenance, and marine navigation. Since October of 2009, Maine has had an unemployment rate below the national average. However, median annual income for Maine families has been around $5,000 less than the national average income. Engineering and marine navigational positions often provide salaries that are nearly double that of the median household income in Maine. The cost of living in the U.S. averages to be $48,500 for a 4-person family, compared to a $56,377 annual household income. There is not much disposable income available for consumer spending. With the induction of the high-paying jobs created by major offshore wind farm projects, the Maine economy would be boosted with an influx of disposable income. Another bonus of researching and implementing offshore wind farms would be to decrease Maine's dependence on imported fossil fuels by nearly $6 billion a year. This would also keep money spent on energy in Maine. There is currently a large demand for clean energy as pollution and global warming become more prominent. Wind energy supplies just that. There are some environmental concerns, such as alterations of food webs, pollution from increased marine traffic, and release of contaminants from seabed sediment when the structure on which the wind turbines rest is constructed. There are also conjectures suggesting that the wind turbine structures could act as artificial reefs. This would increase the number of shellfish and the animals that feed on them, like fish and marine animals, which would benefit our ecosystems as well as fishing industries. However, if the turbine structures did not double as artificial reefs as expected, floating hull technology has been developed and patented by the University of Maine. This technology could minimize the alteration of food webs and the disturbance of seabed sediment. Floating hull technology could also increase the capability of wind farms by allowing for them to be farther from shore. There is great potential for offshore wind energy to meet the demand for electricity, and in doing so, it could provide Maine with a new industry. An industry capable of creating a large number of high-paying jobs, which would then create more disposable income to boost the Maine economy. By supplying electricity to other states, Maine would be blessed with a new product, which is in high demand. The monetary cost of offshore wind energy would initially be very large. However, offshore wind energy has the potential to provide a large monetary net gain. The sources used to create this podcast are included in the following link. Thank you very much for listening, and have a good day.